Welcome to the Sound of Ideas from IdeaStream Public Media. I'm Stephanie Haney. Thank you for being with us. The American Red Cross has declared a national blood crisis, only the second time in its history since it's taken that step. That first time was in January of 2022 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This time, blood donations have fallen to a 4-year summer low as demand remains high. The shortage is especially urgent for type O blood, as supplies of O positive fell below a 1-day supply in late July. Today, we'll look at what's driving this shortage, how it's affecting hospitals and patients, and how you can help rebuild the nation's blood supply. Joining me in studio today to talk through this, we have Christina Peters, Communications Director of the American Red Cross Northern Ohio region. Hi, Christy.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I appreciate you being here. Maybe you're a regular blood donor, or maybe you have questions about donor eligibility. If you do, let us know. You can join this conversation. You can give us a call at 866-578-0903, or you can send us an email at soi@ideastream.org or message us on Instagram at The Sound of Ideas. Now, Christy, about this current blood supply situation, why is this so significant? Why are we in a crisis?
Unfortunately, this summer we've just seen a higher demand for blood and less people coming to give. And of course, in the summer months, we usually do see a decline. People get busy with vacation, they're out of their normal routines. And so that often means they're not donating blood. But what we've seen this summer is a higher demand from hospitals. So we're sending more blood out, and we're not seeing as many people come in to give, and that's creating a gap in the blood supply that led to this crisis.
Okay. Now, in this moment, is there a specific type of blood you need most? We mentioned O positive a moment ago.
All blood types are important because, of course, there's many different patients who need different types of blood. Type O negative is the universal blood type, which means during an emergency like a car accident, doctors can transfuse type O negative blood until they have time to type a patient's blood and determine what their type is. But O positive is also the most common blood type, so it's in high demand as well. So those two types are significant, but of course, all blood types are needed. Also, platelets, which are a component of blood that you donate when you give a pint of blood, which are part of the clotting component in your blood. They only have a 5-day shelf life. It's a very fragile product, so there's a need for those as well.
Okay. So when you say that doctors and medical professionals can give O negative to anyone, that's the universal donor, right? Is that the language we use for that?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Is O positive the universal recipient?
It is not.
Okay.
It's O positive is just the type that is most common in the population. So there's a high demand for it just because more people are that blood type.
Got it.
And
Okay.
again, many people think that to donate, they need to know their blood type, which they don't. So we want to let people know that that's always a question that comes up. And we want to make it clear you can come and give even if you don't know your blood type.
Okay. Will you get the information about what your blood type is if you do donate?
Absolutely. The Red Cross will follow up with you in a few weeks after your donation and give you all of that information.
That's one of those things that just doesn't stick in my brain, my blood type. Recently it has. I know that I'm B negative now, but I have gone a decade if someone would ask me what my blood type is and I just don't know what it is.
I don't think that that's uncommon. I think most of us don't have really a reason to know unless we're regular blood donors.
Sure. What are the general eligibility requirements for donating blood?
To give blood, you have to be at least 17 years old. Here in Ohio, you can give at 16 with parental consent. You just have to meet certain height and weight requirements and be feeling well on the day of your donation. So if you're fighting a cold or just not feeling 100%, please wait until you're feeling better to come and give.
Okay. What are some common reasons someone might be temporarily or even permanently unable to donate blood?
This is probably the question I get most. A lot of people want to know, I'm taking a certain medication or I've traveled to a certain place, can I give? I will say that most deferrals from the American Red Cross are temporary. So that would mean you're taking an antibiotic for something. You can't donate on an antibiotic. Or you traveled on vacation on a cruise somewhere and you went to an area that maybe had a high risk for malaria. So you might be deferred for a temporary amount of time. Sometimes people fight iron issues. So perhaps their iron isn't high enough to give blood. All of those things could impact your ability to give, but I do encourage people, even if you've come in and tried to donate and you weren't able to give for some reason, please consider coming back. Oftentimes, as I said, those are temporary. They're not permanent deferrals. There are some medications that might make someone unable to give, such as blood thinners, things like that. But again, it's very specific. If you visit our website, which is redcrossblood.org, there's an entire list of medications. There's also all kinds of topics around eligibility. I think people would be surprised to know how many people can give who think they can.
We did get a specific question from Wendy in Bath, Ohio about travel. I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, but if not, we'll point Wendy to the website. Wendy says, I visited Vietnam and Cambodia in December and into January. Can I donate blood now? Is that something you're able to answer, Christy?
That is not something I am able to answer, but I would encourage her to visit the website because there is a list of specific areas. And again, it's very specific to where you were and how long you were there. And that's why we encourage people, if you can't visit the website, you can always call 1-800-RED Cross and speak to someone over the phone about your questions.
Okay. You mentioned antibiotics. I'll ask you about this question. If I was on an antibiotic and I finished my course of medication yesterday, can I donate today? Or do I have to wait a little bit for it to get out of my system?
No, if once you're finished with your course, you can donate.
Okay, very good to know. Are there some common misconceptions that people might have about blood donation, maybe what the process is like or anything like that you'd like to help us clear up?
I think people think we have an unending supply of blood. It's not something that we think about. Thankfully, most of us don't necessarily need it, but blood is not something we can stockpile. It is only available from volunteer donors. So despite medical advancements, we can't create blood in a lab. So this really is something where the community steps up to help other community members. And that really is so important. We need people to give on a regular basis, not only to keep our local blood supply strong now, but to be prepared. Emergencies can happen at any time, and that blood needs to be on the shelf ready to go so a hospital can have it and use it for patients.
If you're just joining us here on The Sound of Ideas, we are talking about the fact that there is a national blood shortage crisis. This is a designation that the Red Cross has only put in place one other time. That was back in 2022, related to the COVID-19 pandemic. If you have a comment or a question about blood donation, you can call us at 866-578-0903. You can also email us at soi@ideastream.org, or you can find us on Instagram. We're at The Sound of Ideas. We're also on Facebook at The Sound of Ideas. We have an email now in from Scott. This is related to a particular infection that Scott had at one point. And again, if we don't have the access to this information, we'll point you to the website to find the answer. But Scott says, I was told I could not donate blood in the past due to an Epstein-Barr virus infection that led to hospitalization and inflamed liver many years ago. I was told I would never be able to donate. Is that still the case? Are you aware if that's still a distinction?
That is not something that I have heard of. So again, I would refer people to our 1-800 number or to the website. Unfortunately, again, just because it is so specific, eligibility is very much tied to you as an individual. So it's really important to get the most accurate information from the website or from our 1-800 number.
And I would imagine things do change. Can you give us that website and the number again so we can make sure people have it?
So if you visit redcrossblood.org, there is a tab all about eligibility. You can also always call 1-800-RED Cross. You can also always stop in at a blood drive and speak to one of our staff members. They're incredibly knowledgeable and they can access information to find out for sure. And again, I would just encourage people to get the information. Don't just assume you can't. Many times, as you said, those deferrals change and they're temporary.
Exactly. Things change. Medical advancements change for certainly over time. This is something connected to a segment that we'll be talking about next. We'll be talking about HIV and AIDS. We know there's been some advancement related to HIV and AIDS. Do you know if someone has HIV, for example, and it's undetectable in their blood, is that person able to donate blood?
So there have been some changes around that deferral. And again, I can't speak to the specifics, but I do know that there are some instances where you can give. And again, this would be something where you would want to come talk to one of our health historians or visit the website to get more information.
Okay. So say someone is aware that they definitely can donate or think that they might be able to donate and they want to check that out. How can people schedule an appointment to do that?
We absolutely encourage appointments, especially right now, because we've seen so many people step up to give, which is wonderful. You can visit redcrossblood.org and search by your zip code to find a blood drive near you. Here in Northern Ohio, we run about 20 blood drives every single day, so there's a good chance there's one happening nearby. You can also call 1-800-RED Cross, and the Red Cross actually has a free blood donor app that you can download to your phone. It allows you to search for blood drives. You can make your appointment directly on your phone. You can actually put your donation card on your phone, so all you need is your phone when you go to give. Again, we do encourage appointments so that we can plan accordingly. But of course, if you just happen to be driving by and you see our sign, please consider stopping in and making a donation.
About the Red Cross app, it's my understanding you can actually track your blood donation journey. Tell us about that, Christy.
So I think the blood donation journey is the coolest part of the app. So you can actually watch in real time. You'll see your donation being processed actually here, right here in Cleveland at our main headquarters. It'll go through testing, it'll go through storage. At the end, you'll see it head out and you'll actually get a note saying, thank you, your donation went to Cleveland Clinic to help a patient in need.
Wow, that's very
It's
interesting.
very cool. It's just a really nice real-time reminder of the difference that you're making, that there really is a patient out there who is going to use that product and it's going to help them fight whatever they're facing.
Sure. Are you able to tell us, Christy, you might not have the answer for this, but how quickly someone will go from donating to that blood being put to use to help save a life?
So normally it's a pretty quick turnaround, especially right now in this crisis. It takes about 3 days from the time you give to process that blood and prepare it for a hospital, but it's very rare that it's on our shelves longer than that. So about 3 days from the time you give until it's headed out.
Okay. We have a call now from Iva in Garrettsville. Iva, welcome to the Sound of Ideas. Please go ahead.
I'm a regular donor, and I have been at it for, I think I'm at my 25th gallon or something like that. But I just want to urge anybody to stop in. It's not hard. It's not hard. And part of the problem is that the greatest generation, the World War II folks, who really were the backbone of the whole donation thing, they're dying off. There hardly any of them left. And somebody needs to step up and take their place.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Iva, and congratulations on 25
Yes,
gallons.
wonderful.
I don't know off the top of my head how many gallons of blood we have in our body, but that sounds like a lot.
That's amazing. So we have the average human body has about 16 pints. And so when you donate, you're giving 1 pint. So it's not a lot. I agree. I think there are a lot of people who gave on a regular basis who maybe aren't able to give anymore. We do continue to see involvement from younger people. About 20% of what we collect comes from high schools and college students. Of course, that's what usually hurts us in the summer is when they're not in school and they're not donating. But yes, this would be a great time if you haven't given in a long time or you've never given. Now is the perfect time to start the routine.
And the Red Cross does offer incentives for people to donate, particularly in a time of crisis like this. Can you tell us about anything that might be happening right now?
So we realize people are busy and we just want to say thank you for their assistance. When you come to give now through August 31st, you get a $20 Amazon e-gift card in your email. Again, just a small thank you from the Red Cross for taking the time out to help and overcome this national crisis.
Okay. We've got a question here in from Stephen. Stephen wants to know, from walk in to walk out, how long does the donation process usually take? Christy?
Usually takes about an hour from start to finish. You can save about 15 minutes by doing what we call our rapid pass, which is a way to answer your health history questions on the day of your donation before you come in. You can do that through the app that we talked about or also on our website. And again, more information at redcrossblood.org or the 1-800-RED Cross number.
Okay. Thank you very much. Christy Peters, Communications Director for the American Red Cross Northern Ohio region. We appreciate the time.
Thank you.